Hello geometry students, welcome back to another video on our unit 3 study guide. We're going to be looking at problem number 3. Problem number 3 says, what is the scale factor if you're dilating triangle EDF to ABC? Well, before I do anything, I like to identify the parts that are corresponding. That'll help me figure things out. So I know that the C corresponds with the letter D because I look at the angle for D and it only has one line going through it. That tells me that this angle is congruent to this angle, right? So if those two angles are congruent, then I have to find the next pair of congruent angles. I know that F, I'm going to go ahead, box F. I'm going to put a box around F. F has two lines. If F has two lines, well, B also has two lines. So I'm going to put a box around B because those two correspond. So that leaves A and E. A and E must be congruent, so I'm going to circle those two. Okay, so let me fix this real quick just because this doesn't look that clear. There we go, that's F. Now, if I want to go ahead, find my scale factor from EDF to ABC, so EDF to ABC, well, the number I'm trying to get to has to be part of the numerator. So if I make my scale factor, so I'm going to put SF for scale factor. Well, the number that goes on top, which is I'm trying to get to ABC. If I'm trying to get to ABC, I have to use two sides that are congruent. In this case, or sorry, not congruent, similar. In this case, EF is similar to AB. I want you to notice how I figured that out. 5 is surrounded, or 5 is between the circle and the square. 12 is also between the circle and the square. I did not use 15 because C has a line and F has a square, so that means that they're not going to be corresponding parts. So in this case, I would have to take 12 divided by 5. That would be my scale factor. Remember, the triangle that I'm trying to get to, that has to be on the numerator. In this case, I'm trying to get to ABC. And the denominator has to be the value that I am going away from, which is DEF or EDF, sorry. Okay, so that's my solution for the first part. I found my scale factor, total of 5. The next part says find the length of DE. So I need to find this length. I know that the 5 and the 12 coincide, so that means that the 15 and the X have to coincide. So I need to use my scale factor from the previous example, but this time I'm going from ABC to EDF. So that means I have to take my scale factor, and what do I do with the fraction? I take it starts with the letter R. I take the reciprocal. So my scale factor going the other way has to be 5 over 12, right? So if my scale factor is 5 over 12, I'm going to go ahead take my corresponding side. So in this case, my corresponding side would be the 15, and I'm trying to find X. So I'm going to go ahead take 15 times 5 over 12, okay? And that'll be equal to DE. I know 15 times 5 is going to be 75 divided by 12. I type that into a calculator. That gives me 6.25, and that is the length of DF. Okay, DF is 6.25. Okay, and that is my final answer. Okay. And that is it for this problem. Let me know if you have any questions. If you do, raise your hand and I'll be happy to explain anything. But make sure that you know how to find the scale factor. Remember, if it's one scale factor, if you want to find the other, you just take the reciprocal, okay? So see you in the next video.